Well, hello everyone. Hope you're having a great day. We are going to work on chapter 6 today. Hope you're having a great day. I hope you got to attend the time mastery training yesterday. It was really great. Really went over a lot of concepts, not only that we have used in this book, but also did a great assessment that kind of showed people where they were doing really well in time management and some areas they needed to work on. So that I thought was great, and we'll probably have that training here again. Everyone seemed to really like it. We're thrilled you're here. Let me show you the screen. There we are. We are on chapter 6, so hopefully you've done your homework all along. Hopefully things are progressing for you really well. And I want to thank you for joining us. So let's move on to what we're going to talk about today. And that is, we're going to review homework. You know, this is part of what we do is we check in, are you guys able to get your homework done? Are you working on your goals and plans and your calendar to see if you're able to meet your goals? So on the homework, we were supposed to ask ourselves, if I weren't doing this already, knowing what I know now, would I start doing it again today? That's like a check-in with yourself. And I have a picture of a curb there. And what are we kicking to the curb, that is a time waster or a time filler that's not getting us closer to our goal? So really, really important that, we think about this and be honest with ourselves. This is kind of this self-accountability with what's going on with us has been really important, I think, and it can be an eye-opener. I know it is for me once I evaluate if what I'm doing is getting me closer to my goal, then, I have to answer that for myself. No one's coming to fix it for us, so we have to be willing to fix it for ourselves. So how are you doing with that? Hope it's going well. And then using your list of goals, which have you sequenced and prioritized? And examine each of your personal and work activities. So again, we're drilling down a little bit more, right? Are we setting those priorities so that we're doing the things that we need to be doing to get us closer to our goals? Are those sequenced? Are those in order? Are we putting those in order of importance and deciding which things we can do today and which things we can put off? We talked about creative procrastination in the last chapter, in chapter 5, and figuring out what are those things that we can really put off. What are these things that we can say, let's not do this right now. Let's do this other thing because this other thing is getting me closer to what I said I wanted to do. Whether it's, I heard a lot of cleaning out areas like garages, or whether it's taking a class, or whether it's getting your finances in order, or getting your personal life in order, or your career life, setting those goals out for yourself. Where are you with that? So anyhow, really good to check in and see how you're doing. So I hope those things are going well for you. So let's go on to the next, which is this chapter. And again, this is chapter 6. Move ahead. There we go. So what are we doing in chapter 6? We want to use the ABC method. So I'm on page 37 if you want to follow along with me. And it says the ABC method is a powerful priority setting technique you can use every single day. So this is challenging you every single day. Look at what you're doing. How about that? Are we that focused? It says this technique is so simple and effective it can, all by itself, make you one of the most efficient and effective people in your field. Wow. How about that? Huh. That's incredible. So it says think on paper. List. Make a list of everything you have to do for the coming day. Think of everything you have to do for the coming day. Then on page 38, it says, then you place A, B, C, D, or E next to each item on your list before you begin the first task. So again, we're challenging you now, day by day. Are you setting out those priorities and spending most of your time on that biggest frog? And remember, the biggest frog is the one that is the hardest task. So let's break it down. Again, I'm on page 38. Here we go. Think on paper. A is your must do, your frogs. What are your things you must do to get done that day? We can't put those off. We got to face it and look at it, and maybe we have to break it down in little pieces. Remember how we do our sub goals? So do you have to do little things to get to the A? So on page 38, it says A1, A2, A3, and so on. Your A1 task is your biggest, ugliest frog at all. So again, prioritizing it using this method I think is really cool. So let's see, what is B? B is your shoulds versus musts. So an item B is defined as a task you should do. It only has mild consequences if you don't do it. And I think it's really funny. They said these are the tadpoles of your work life. So they're the little tadpoles, whereas the A is the frog. So the B says this means that someone may be unhappy or inconvenienced if you don't do one of these, but it's nowhere near as important as an A task. Okay? Guys all with me? A is the big thing. B is the tadpole. Let's look at C. C is, oh, it'd be nice to do. But if there's no consequences at all, whether you do it or not. C and tasks include phoning a friend, having coffee or lunch with a coworker, completing some personal business during work hours. So these are things that would be nice to do, but they don't have any effect on your work life or your work goals or your big strategies of things you need to work on. Okay? And let's go to D, delegate. How are we at delegation? Not one of my first things, but I work on it. A D task is defined as something you can delegate to someone else. The rule is that you should delegate everything that someone else can do so you can free up more time for the A task that only you can do. Whoa. Huh. The rule is that you should delegate everything that someone else can do so that you can free up more time for the A tasks that only you can do. Wow, that's a concept. Think how that could change your life. You know, think at home how that can change your life. Not being mean, just being purposeful, right? So delegate some of those things out. Then E, we've talked about this before. E is defined as something you can eliminate altogether and it won't make any real difference. What are some things that you can eliminate altogether? Think about that. Watching TV mindlessly. Sitting in traffic, you know, we have to do that, but some people multitask while they're sitting in traffic. They make phone calls. Only if you have Bluetooth, right? They might listen to books on tape. They might learn a language on tape, a new language. But E is something you can eliminate altogether. So think about what activity or task that is. We used the example last week, remember, of the guy that loved to golf, and he was golfing 3 or 4 times a week. Well, in the meantime, he got married, had kids, had responsibilities at home. He realized that he was spending too much time on the golf course and not enough time with his family and helping out around home and being present. And so he had to cut back. So what is maybe something you can cut back on that'll give you more time to do the things that you must do, which are the frogs? Guys, with me on that? I think that's really cool. And I think one thing, the big caveat is take action immediately. You know, we can think about these things all day long. We can write lists all day long, but we have to take action, right? And it takes your willpower to get going and stay going on the one job, which is A, the most important single task you could possibly be doing. Eat the whole frog and don't stop till it's finished completely, and that's on page 39. So you have to put action to your list. Very important. If we just have a list posted and it doesn't have any value to you, or you're not working your list, or you're not setting those priorities, what does that mean? You know, and the fact is that we have to take this time. We have to put that time into ourselves in order to get where we want to go. And so again, encouraging you, really look at this ABCDE method. I think it's really cool. It's a great concept. It's fairly easy to think about. And so here's your homework. The homework is on page 40. Review your work list right now and put an A, B, C, D, or E next to each task or activity. That's right now. Select your A1 job or project, and that's like the little subtask, right? We talked about that. Maybe A needs 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 steps under that. Put those in sequence and practice on it immediately. So check that off. It's really cool, again, when you are putting these things on paper, you're working your plan, you're checking things off to get you closer to your goal, which is that A. That's the frog. We're trying to eat that frog. Discipline yourself to do nothing else until this one job is complete. And really, this is all it takes is discipline. It's really redirecting yourself sometimes, keeping focused on what's important in your life, and really eliminating the things that waste time. And then number 2 on your homework is practice the ABC method every day for the next month on every work project or project list before you begin work. After a month, you'll have developed the habit of setting and working on your highest priority tasks, and you'll be closer to your goals, more efficient, less procrastination, more in charge of your time, more in control of your life. So I think this is a great chapter. It's not a long chapter, but I really want us to think about how we're doing on these, with the methods where we're using, all these strategies that we're using to try to get us to being the most efficient we can and knocking off those goals that are important to us and not being stagnant. It's really taking charge of yourself and your life. So really keep encouraging you to keep doing the right thing, focus on yourself, put your must-dos on paper, put your should-dos below that. Think of the things nice to do but not really getting you to your goal. Think about the things you can delegate out. Don't be shy about doing that, and we can practice that if you need to, one-on-one. And eliminate those things that are real time wasters, that are taking you away from your bottom line, which is your goals. I want to thank you for joining me today. I hope you have a great day. I hope you're getting a lot out of the book. I know I am. And I look forward to seeing you again at our next meeting. Have a great day. Bye-bye.